Why is it, 3D? Yung pinakamurang rice cooker, 500 pesos. Why is it different from there? Actually, when the Japanese invented the modern rice cooker, it wasn't actually the way we used to cook it. Yung sinaunang panahon, iba yung pagluto natin ng bigas. If you ask, who's from the province and not from Manila? Here. Anyone? What province are you? Where are you from? Marinduque. May, na-observe ko ba before, ma'am, yung pagluto ng, ano natin, ng lolo mo or lola mo before? Hindi mo na na-observe. Well, probably most of you are familiar with the rice cooker, but you're not familiar with how we cook it back in the provinces. Actually, ginagamit nila pang gatong, di ba? Kasi put it in a pot, excess water, the grains are there. But what happens when, before siya kumulo, yung excess water tinatapon? Because that contains now the slowly digestible starch and the rapidly digestible starch. But if you boil it, you'll leak both. If you don't boil it, you're only gonna leak mostly the rapidly digestible starch, which is what we call the bad starch. Kaya nila tinatapon yun. So, in all honesty, there's no point for us selling the product if everyone was cooking the same way. But the problem is, with convenience, who here cooks the same way? When I ask you the question, no one is familiar with it. This is exactly the problem with modern society. We're too dependent on appliances. This makes life easier, basically. So the motivation and the inspiration behind the revocook process, that's what Grayns does, is actually yung pagluto nila nung sinaunang panahon. Which is, we share the same culture practically with Malaysia and Indonesia. Yung pinanggalingan natin pareho. So they know our problems more than anyone else. So that's why when they invented this product, it's quite similar with the idea that we can sell it to Filipinos. Okay. First step is called thermosense. What it does is sense the perfect temperature for you to leak the amylopectin. Not the amylose. Yung amylose natin, very, very, very slight reduction ng yan. Mostly amylopectin is what we're trying to get rid of. So, what is amylopectin? Joy, pakikuha lang yung tray, yung catch basin. So, you'll see it's a very complicated machine inside. So after you find a certain temperature, it's not just about boiling. You have to keep the temperature to a constant level, which is defined by our sensors. So the thermosense is a patented technology. No one can just copy it. At the same time, no one can just do it. So kung may lumabas next year na 3D na ganyan, matakot kayo kasi hindi yung totoo probably. It took them 10 years to get this technology perfected because it's a sensor, that's why it's very expensive. Number 3, after you're done cooking, it's not even done cooking, you're just trying to get rid of the starch. Once you're done leaking out the starch, you can already drain this starch-rich water. This is what you can see now. Can I have a glass, please? Yung clear. May clear ba dyan? So can everyone see this one? Ayan, ito na lang. So this is actually the starch. So this is actually the starch. Can you see it? Parang buko juice. If you cook rice regularly, this is what you're eating alongside the rice. With a regular rice cooker, it actually also leaks out the starch, but not to the same efficiency. But the problem is, what regular rice cookers do is that it cooks the water, it boils off the water, so all the starch that's been leaked into this water stays inside the rice cooker. So what's the point? You still eat it after. Instead of being inside the rice grain, it's actually surrounding the rice now. What does Grayns do? It actually drains the water. So no rice cooker in the world does this. Okay? There's no rice cooker in the world that does this. So it's the only rice cooker in the world that can do this. So pag sinabi ng Zoji Roshi, 27K din yung rice cooker namin, we can do the same thing. Don't believe them. You ask them this question, does it drain the starch away from the rice? Okay. Number 4, what happens now when you drain? What's the biggest problem now once you drain this water? Dehilaw yung bigas. Ilaw yung kanin mo. And it's not going to be desirable. So Grayns, what they had in mind is to add another step, which is what we call the demoist stage, wherein everything is selected. The quality and texture and taste of your rice will be dependent on the settings that you input inside the rice cooker. So, has anyone here tried cooking with a regular rice cooker? I'm sure everyone knows. How do you control the texture and the quality of your rice? Water to rice ratio, di ba? So, sir, ilan yung takal mo ng ano? Dalawang bigas, ilang tubig?
Dalawa din.
Dalawa din, 1-to-1. How about you, ma'am? Ilan yung sa'yo? Tatlong tubig to one what? That's actually good. If you throw away the water after. If you don't, walang kwenta. So, the thing is, si ma'am iba, si sir iba, everyone's gonna be different. So, the point of demoist is to standardize the stage. So, ang water namin, if you put 2 cups of 1 cup of rice, you put the same amount of water. No, not 1:1. 4:1. 4 water, 1 cup of rice. What happens? So, isip ng mga tao, it's gonna be too wet. Malata. No, it doesn't happen. Because we drain out the water after. And we introduce the second stage of cooking, wherein they will demoisturize the rice now based on your settings. So, in the settings panel, you can see softness level and moisture level. This is very, very unique. Even the advanced Japanese rice cookers cannot do this. Because everyone is practically the same. They introduce different materials, they introduce steam, they introduce pressure, but at the end of the day, the water is still there, the starch is still there. We're the only rice cooker that tackles the cooking of rice in a different way. Wherein we put an excess amount of water and we actually leak it and cook it again. Okay. So any questions so far?